As winter approaches and it's getting quite cold outside, remember to dress warmly when you go out. By the way, in this chilly weather, I want to tell you about the story of Yuki-Onna, the snow woman. This is an extremely famous urban legend in Japan that people often whisper about whenever snow begins to blanket the earth. Now before we get to the main content, please hit the subscribe button to support the channel. Yuki-Onna is beautiful and extremely mysterious. Her black hair stands out against the white snow as she stands there alone in a thin kimono. This woman is known by various names depending on the region of Japan, but the name Yuki-Onna is the most famous. Yuki-Onna is a snow woman who often takes the form of a supernatural being in Japanese culture. However, I like to call her the Snow Queen, because it sounds both alluring and powerful. Yuki-Onna is often described as a breathtakingly beautiful woman, but according to some paintings, I don't find her very beautiful. But of course, there are many different versions. Yuki-Onna's eyes partly resemble those of Medusa, bringing terror to anyone who looks into them. Many say she has no feet because she always floats a few inches above the ground and leaves no footprints on the snow in the places she passes. The first written record of the appearance of the Snow Queen was found in a work written during the Muromachi period by a monk named Shushi. He recounted encountering Yuki-Onna on a winter morning. She was a young beautiful woman over 3 meters tall with unusually white skin, dressed in an almost translucent white kimono. The monk attempted to approach the girl, but instead of responding to him, she quickly disappeared into the thick snow. Based on this record, it is believed that Yuki-Onna began appearing during the Muromachi period, between 1333 and 1573, which is the 14th and 16th centuries. Of course, the legend of the Snow Queen is often spread in regions of Japan with extremely cold winters, from the north to the south. In each region, her appearance holds different meanings, sometimes positive but also negative. In some places it is often told that Yuki-Onna appears during the Kosokatsu festival, which takes place on the 15th of January. This ritual is held on the first full moon of the new year, as the moon plays a crucial role in Japanese culture. In many other places, Yuki-Onna appears on New Year's Day and disappears on the first day of February. Her appearance can bring either good fortune or misfortune, but generally, it is believed that she has a close relationship with mountain deities, and brings blessings to humans, such as bountiful harvests or abundant descendants. However, in some southern regions of Japan, people believe that Yuki-Onna only appears on the first full moon night when the first snow falls, and mothers will not allow their children to go outside on such nights for fear that the Snow Queen will take them away with her disappearance. So how do you know if you've encountered a Yuki-Onna? In each area, snow women are described in different ways, but mostly she is described as a young, incredibly beautiful woman with long black hair. She only appears on snowy nights, and Yuki-Onna's skin is described as white, even translucent like crystal. She often wears a delicate white kimono, which will surely catch your attention in that harsh weather, especially since Yuki-Onna either floats in the air or has no feet, leaving no footprints in the snow. When attacking someone, the snow woman will freeze her prey completely. When she senses danger, she will either blend into the snow or transform herself into a mist. So where does the legend of Yuki-Onna come from? There are many versions of this, but first let me tell you about one of the most well-known versions, the story of Lady Oyuki. Long ago in a certain village there were 2 woodcutters named Minokichi and Mosaku. Minokichi was young while Mosaku was already a very old man. One winter day, they went up the mountain to cut wood but got caught in a sudden snowstorm. Luckily they found a small hut, and decided to stay there until the storm passed. In the middle of the night, Minokichi woke up because of the cold, and saw a beautiful woman in a thin white kimono blowing air onto the frozen Mosaku lying next to him. The old man was completely frozen. The woman then approached Minokichi, looked into his eyes and said, "I will spare your life because you are still too young." She warned him never to speak of this encounter to anyone, or else he would end up like the frozen man beside him. After saying this, the woman quietly walked towards the door and disappeared into the howling snowstorm. Exactly as promised, Minokichi never dared to utter a word about the fateful encounter to anyone. Several years later, he met and married a young woman named Oyuki, which means snow in Japanese. They lived happily together and had children. One night, after the children had gone to bed, Minokichi confided in his wife, saying, "When I look at you, I am reminded of a mysterious event I experienced several years ago. I saw a beautiful woman who looked just like you. I don't know if it was a dream or reality, but I believe I met a Yuki-Onna." As soon as he finished speaking, his wife Oyuki suddenly sat up, her whole body became cold, and she said, "The woman you met that day was me, and you have broken your promise. I warned you not to tell anyone about this, but you've broken promise. But I can't hurt you because of our children. Take good care of them." After saying that, Oyuki stood up, opened the door, and disappeared into the white snow just like the night years ago, and since then, no one has seen her again. There are many stories about Yuki-Onna, depending on the region. Sometimes they are similar, but sometimes they are completely different. Here are some other anecdotes about the snow woman in the northern and southern regions of Japan. According to the Totori variant, Yuki-Onna is a water beggar. She rides the wind and appears on days of light snowfall. She will walk through the town, and whenever she meets anyone on the road, she will wave a white wooden stick and say, "Please give me water." If you give her cold water, she will swell up, but if you give her hot water, she will melt and disappear completely. According to the Yamagata variant, Yuki-Onna is a moon princess. The story tells that Yuki-Onna was once a princess who lived on the moon, but even though she lived in luxury, she always considered it a very boring and forbidden life. What she always longed for was to see and experience life on Earth. Then one night she ran away from her parents and flew down to the lower world. But what she didn't expect was that she would never be able to return to the moon again. Therefore, on every full moon night when it snows, she wanders the streets looking for a way to return to her old place. This is the variant in Aomori, Niigata, and Miyagi. Yuki-Onna is a snow vampire. In contrast to many other variants, Yuki-Onna here is a terrifying monster who hunts in the forests when it snows. Yuki-Onna lives off the life of others, that is, she will suck out their souls. When she catches her prey, she freezes them to death and then sucks their souls out of their mouths. In Niigata, it is said that she prefers the souls of children to those of adults, because children often have innocent and pure souls, which are probably tastier than the rather dirty souls of adults. Finally, in the variant of Ibaraki, Fukushima, Akita, and Fukui, Yuki-Onna is a talking snow woman. Yuki-Onna in the stories told in these places has a different point that she will start a conversation, or seduce someone before attacking them. When meeting someone on a dark snowy night, Yuki-Onna will call them, and if that person answers, she will attack. However, in Fukushima and Ibaraki, it is the opposite. It is said that Yuki-Onna will attack anyone who ignores her. If anyone hears her voice and does not respond, Yuki-Onna will grab them and throw them into a nearby ravine. As you can see, no matter which variant you look at, Yuki-Onna always has a mysterious and extremely cold beauty. This urban legend is so famous that it has appeared in countless literary works, even in movies and comics. That's all for today's video. If you find it interesting and want me to make more content, please leave a comment below and let me know. And this is Creep Factor. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. And if you like this video, please click like, share and subscribe to the channel for more interesting contents.